But I'm not about to say no to you people. So Henry and Liz, as you know, were my first neighbors when I went to Nashville, and this was Henry's first date with Liz, and he said, told her dad, can I take your daughter on a date? And he said, son, this is my only daughter. You make sure you walk her to the movies and walk her home. Promise me you're never going to leave her side. And I love that story, but Henry told it to me every single night that I was over there at their house for 9 months because he forgot he would tell it to me earlier. So I thought, if I ever write them a song, it's got to be called Walking Her Home, because basically that's the only song that, the only story that Henry remembers. And so I moved away, for another 5 years or whatever, because I was a youth director on the other side of town. And I called Henry and I'm like, Henry, I think I've got your song down. He's like, good, because we're in the nursing home and time is ticking. So I went to the nursing home and I played this song for him, and after I was done, Henry put his arm out and Liz put her arm in there. They gave me a hug, and Henry shuffled on down the hall, like a quarter mile an hour, and I was laughing because they just had lunch and now they're, making it to their room. They're gonna have to make a U-turn and come back for dinner. And but as he was walking her down the hallway, I just went, oh my gosh, Henry, when you promised her you were gonna walk her home and never leave her side, you weren't talking about the movies. You were talking about until the day you handed her back into Jesus Christ and handed her into the arms of Jesus. And so I realized at that moment what it was like to be a great man, and what it was like to be a great husband and a great father. And my first Christmas in Nashville, I was going nowhere fast, and Henry and Liz didn't say, hey, if you have a gold record, or if you're going to sell a lot of records or have number ones, we'd like to hang out with you. They just said, we're in on the first day. Just because I was somebody who was from out of town and I lived next door to them, and they looked like they needed some fried southern food. And Liz put the telephone on the table on that first Christmas, and she said, you need to call your folks. And I said, well, what for, Liz? And she said, well, Henry and I have been talking, and we decided if we had a son who was out in the world today, we want somebody to take care of him. So you need to call your folks and tell them they've got nothing to worry about, because you just got adopted by Henry and Liz. This is a song for two of my favorite people in Nashville. Looking back, he sees it all. It was her first date the night it came to call, and a dancing sun, have her home on time, and promise me you'll never leave her side. Took it to a show in town, and he was 10 feet off the ground. He was walking her home and holding her hand. Oh, the way she smiled and stole the breath right out of him. Down that old road with the stars up above, he remembers where he was walking her home. 10 more years in a waiting room, 1:30. It's when the doctor said, come in and meet your son. And his knees went weak when he saw his wife. She was smiling as she said, he's got your eyes. And as she slept, he held her tight. His mind went back to that first night. He was walking her home and holding her hand. Oh, the way she smiled and stole the breath right out of him. Down that old road with the stars up above, he remembers where he was the night he fell in love. He was walking her home, and he walked her through the best days of her life. 60 years together, and he never left her side. A nursing home at 85, and the doctor doctor said it could be her last night, and the nurse said, oh, should we tell him now, or should he wait until the morning to find out? But when they checked her room that night, he was laying by her side. He was walking her home and holding her hand. Oh, the way she smiled when he said, this is not the end. Just for a while, they were 18, and she was still more beautiful to him than anything. He was walking her home. He was walking her home. Looking back, he sees it all. It was her first date the night he came to so much. Well, after my mom and dad extended that kind of grace to me and adopted me, and Henry and Liz extended that kind of grace to me and adopted me, and they lived with their arms wide open, I said, how do you live like that? Because it's easier to live like this than it is like that. And they live a legacy like this. That's the legacy they passed down to me. My mom and dad passed it down to me, and Henry and Liz, who were not even part of my family, really passed that legacy down to me. And so I said, what do you do with that? And I realized they were able to do this to me because God did this to them first before they ever dreamed of doing it to anybody else. And there's nothing that God just said, there's nothing you can do to make me love you more. There's nothing you can do to make me love you less. I just love you the way you are. And so my wife said, what do we do with all this? What do we do with all this? How do we live like this? So in June, we got a call and we flew over to China. And we picked up our daughter. Wrapped around her finger, and she's only 13 months old. She can't even walk yet, and I'd just run through a wall for that girl. And so we went and adopted her, and that's why tonight's such a big deal, because I needed a place to live. I needed a home, and my mom and dad gave it to me. I needed another home when I was in Nashville, and Henry and Liz gave it to me. And Maya May needed a home, and we gave it to her. And tonight, Holt offers you the same option to help somebody who needs a home, because every child deserves a home. And so if you want to do that for 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, I can guarantee you, if you help a child out for a month or 2 or 3, they're not going to turn it down. And so whatever you can do, we would appreciate. And so I want to do this last song, and as we do it, you all can stand up and sing and just worship with it. But it's a song that says, love came to this earth, and love didn't say, what are you going to do for me? Love said, I'm here for you. And so as we walk out of these doors tonight, I hope that my hope and my prayer is that Christmas will mean something deeply in our hearts in a renewed way, that we walk out into the world like this. People say it's not about gifts and stores. It's about love and grace. And it's the way we leave and the way we lead when we leave this room. So thank you so much for having us. And I'm telling you, I love coming to Ohio. So I hope you'll come back again.